And welcome back to Varsity Sports Now. Well, Jason, as you know, most teams have somewhat reason to celebrate when they make it through a half, maybe even a quarter, without giving up a point.
We caught up with the Tornadoes to find out what went into their defensive dominance. When you start the season, your team forms some goals, maybe to improve over last year's record, or win a region title, or maybe even make it to state. But going through an entire regular season without giving up a point rarely makes the list. But that's exactly what the Cavalier Tornadoes did during the regular season in 2013.
We shut out the first team, and then had a very tough opponent come in, and we really said that night that was our goal, was to shut them out, and after that it just kind of, it grew every week.
That's always a goal for us, is to get the big goose egg on the board, as our coach always says, and try to get the shutout, and that's always the biggest victory you can have, is having a shutout against another team.
Well, at the start of the season, we were just trying to get the wins, and we started getting 0-0-0. And then after about the fourth or fifth game, we realized that we can maybe go the whole season with getting a 0, and that's what we just strive for every game.
The Tornadoes scored 416 points in their 7 regular season games this year and gave up 0. In the second to last game of the season, Thompson got down to the 5-yard line, but Cavalier held for 4 consecutive downs to keep the streak intact.
Thompson was out about the 5-yard line, and we just showed some pride and held them, I guess.
Despite the string of defensive success, the Tornadoes tried to play it down in the locker room.
The team didn't really try to talk about it much, try to keep it out of the locker room and out of our heads, but mostly the coaches were keeping it in our heads and trying to tell us to keep striving for it.
I would say it's the most talented team we've had defensively. We've got outstanding safety back there in Ryan Chrest. He covers sideline to sideline as good as anybody I've ever coached. We've got an inside linebacker there, Robbins, who leads us in tackles, and just he's just a force. He's a big kid that sets pretty fast and moves well, and then our DNs do a great job of just containing people. Justin Gibson and Jeff Stith there, they do a great job of just keeping everybody in the pocket, and those kids that are inside people are able to clean up and do the job in there. We kind of have told them, if the other team can't score, they can't beat us. So that's something that we really live on. That's a kind of a code that we live by, and I think I have a lot of confidence in these kids that they'll get the job done.
All right, good story, Jason. Well, the Tornadoes did give up their first score of the season on Saturday, but didn't matter. They still roll into the 9-man quarterfinals with a 50-24 win over Lemoore LM. Tough matchup coming up, as we mentioned earlier, this weekend, though, against a talented team from South Border. All right, well, big plays always look a little bit better in the postseason. And coming up next, we've got the first playoff edition of Jandy-approved Plays of the Week. Stick around.
Varsity Sports Now, presented by Shields.